short drive from home.
You're watching ABC 45. Live from the ABC 45 newsroom, this is the weekend edition for Sunday, January the 17th.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Trey Hardison. Thanks so much for staying up with us. Coming up on the ABC 45 News Weekend Edition, it's the way of life for thousands of families across the Piedmont. Now tobacco farmers face an uncertain future, but they're not alone. Tonight, a look at who gets hit the hardest in tobacco's fall from grace.
And good evening, I'm Dia Davidson reporting live from the Sawtooth with Nancy Wilson at her after party. You missed her concert, you missed a lot, and we'll have a snapshot coming up.
Thanks, Dia. We'll check back in with you later. Also, overtime, clutch plays, and unbelievable catches. As the dust settles on the NFL football season, 2 teams are left standing. Bruce Schneider will tell us who's going to Miami. We'll get to those stories after we check in with Emily Bird for weather first. 60s in January. Got to ask you, what's wrong with that picture?
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that picture in my opinion. I like those warm temperatures. Take a look outside. Talk about mild, 48 degrees. And in fact, the latest report I was hearing took us up to about 49 or 50. I'm just waiting for that to be official, but we do have that overcast cloud cover, and we got light rain around the area as well. That should be continuing into the morning. By breakfast time, you'll still have some showers lingering around, but then partial clearing by lunchtime, 52 degrees when you eat your lunch, and it's going to be blustery. I'll tell you all about that in just a couple of minutes. Now back to Trey.
Thank you, Emily. We begin tonight with breaking news out of Winston-Salem. Crews are on the scene of a fire that broke out at a house shortly before 10 o'clock. The home is on Marlowe Avenue, just off Polo Road. We understand a firefighter has been injured. We were told, though, his injuries are not life-threatening. We have a crew on the scene, and we'll bring you more information when we have it. The economic forecast for tobacco farmers looks like a dark cloud on the horizon. In fact, it couldn't be worse. Tobacco woes are the focus of tonight's expanded cover story. First, find out why farmers aren't alone in feeling the economic impact. Plus, we'll tell you who's stepping up to the plate to help out, and believe it or not, legislators are already arguing over how to ante up the state settlement check. ABC 45's Shannon Davis begins our coverage.
Usually January is when Johnny Bruner stocks his shelves full of tobacco seeds. Farmers start planting in greenhouses in February. But this year, Bruner had to order a lot less.
The allotments have just come out this week with the cut on them. And so we would just need less of them this year. So when I order a little less.
Pine Hill Farm Supply in Surrey County has put the food on the Bruners' table for 30 years. His wife and 2 sons help him run it.
Tobacco's been good to us.
His sons hope to take it over one day, but with tobacco seeds and products being their main sellers, the future isn't looking too bright.
We can't make a living off of corn or soybeans or anything else or grain like we can tobacco. That's the bread and butter.
Although tobacco won't be planted in this field until May, there are probably a few rows that won't see any seedlings this year. Farmers say the government's cutbacks are slowly taking the word cash out of our state's cash crop.
The government cuts is in 2 years, about 35% is a big cut, and it hurts all of us.
A pain Bruner hopes will lessen in time instead of getting worse. Shannon Davis, ABC 45 News.
And for Johnny Bruner and other farmers hard hit, Philip Morris is giving almost $1/3 of $1 billion to help out. If other tobacco companies pitch in, the fund could grow to over $5 billion. The money would help farmers suffering from the cutbacks in tobacco production. Well, here at home, there's already a squabble over who will manage the tobacco settlement money. North Carolina gets $4.6 billion from the deal. A judge wants a foundation to divide the money up, but the legislature could end up writing the checks instead. If that happens, some worry the money could get dumped into the general budget. The issue should be decided by spring. Well, that same settlement allows tobacco companies to sponsor one sporting event a year. For RJR, that's the Winston Cup. Yesterday, thousands of NASCAR fans raced to the Piedmont for the 10th annual Winston Cup preview. It's a chance for fans to meet drivers up close. The preview also honors the late T. Wayne Robertson. Last January, the former RJR executive and founder of Winston Cup Racing died in a boating accident off the coast of Louisiana. Well, new information tonight on a house fire we told you about last night. The fire caused extensive damage to this High Point home. Investigators say an electrical short is to blame. The family who lives there was at home when the fire broke out, but luckily they all made it out okay. For a Knoxville family, things didn't turn out so lucky. A fierce blaze roared through their home, killing a 19-month-old boy. That tops a look around our world tonight. Investigators say a gas heater ignited the blaze that destroyed the home. 6 children were at home alone when the blaze broke out. 2 are in critical condition from burns suffered in that fire. Elsewhere, fighting erupted this morning in Kosovo a day after 45 ethnic Albanians were found mutilated. Meantime, NATO says all-out fighting in the region won't be tolerated anymore. Massacre victims were laid out under plastic sheets in a nearby village. Well, downtown Houston came alive today to honor the late Martin Luther King Jr. with a parade. Floats, bands, and thousands of people filled the streets, all in honor of King and his dream for racial freedom. Here in the Piedmont, folks gathered at Winston-Salem State for their own MLK celebration. Today's event began with a candlelight procession, and later hundreds gathered in the Dillard Auditorium for a memorial service. For some, the celebration is another way to remember the dream King stood for.
Show that we're all part of a race, and that is the human race, and that we must learn to live together in that kind of state of harmony and equality.
And nationally, tomorrow is the official MLK holiday. Well, a musical event is stirring up a lot of jazz tonight, and it's part of an effort to raise money for the United Negro College Fund. Our Dia Davidson was on hand as Mistress of Ceremonies. She joins us now live from the Sawtooth Center in downtown Winston-Salem. Dia, I hear there's a legendary singer on hand.
Yes, indeed, Trey. Thanks so much for holding down the fort for me this evening. For the first time in Winston-Salem, Nancy Wilson, the incomparable jazz singer, performed at the Stevens Center this evening. And we have some video, hopefully, that they'll run for you in a few seconds to show you a snapshot of some of the things that went on. She performed with the Winston-Salem Piedmont Triad Symphony, and to introduce her was the renowned Dr. Maya Angelou. I was so excited to be able to be a part of it, and right now we are at the Sawtooth, just right down the street, at her after-party concert. And joining me now is Dr. Charlie Kennedy and Maestro Peter Perret. And gentlemen, it was a beautiful evening, wasn't it?
It was fantastic. It was really wonderful. Great crowd.
And Dr. Kennedy, you've been a longtime supporter of UNCF. Why is it so important?
Well, it's very important for what the money that we get from a fundraiser such as this can do for those kids who otherwise would not get an education. So this is a bonanza for us. Not only that, but the relationship that will form with the symphony tonight was outstanding.
Exactly. All right. So you heard it right here. We're at the Sawtooth. Back to you guys in the studio.
It's for a great cause, but I got to tell you, you're having too much fun and you're getting paid for that.
I know, isn't it a shame?
ABC 45's Dia Davidson reporting live tonight in Winston-Salem. Well, non-traditional forms of religion are making a comeback, and right here in the Piedmont, we're seeing some changes too. Some of those changes mean big congregations. Will Connolly has our story.
In the world of religion, there are many traditions. Style of music, gospel choirs, prayer, and atmosphere are all part of the routine. These styles are many times the cornerstone of any church. But in a world where many families are moving away from the traditional church attendance, there comes a need, some say, to reach these folks in a non-traditional way.
We're trying to share the message of Jesus Christ in such a way that folks that may not have been around church for a while don't have to get through all kinds of language and tradition and stuff that they don't understand.
Pastor Russ Ritchell raised attendance by 15% when he decided to include a relaxed service. Here, no one is asked to sing, stand, kneel, or even dress up.
As long as their relationship with God's growing, that's what we're aiming for.
The idea to give substance in the message without the intimidation of formalities.
I think you'll feel comfortable here if you have a lot of questions and doubts about your faith, or if you have a faith that's very developed. So wherever you are on that spectrum, you'll feel right at home.
In a little over a year, the program managed to help Pastor Ritchell fill an 11 a.m. traditional service, proving to him there is hope for growth. Will Connolly, ABC 45 News.
And you can check out this service at the Sawtooth Center in Winston-Salem. The services start at 10 a.m. on Sunday mornings. Still to come on the weekend edition, they're still recovering from one of the deadliest and costliest quakes ever. We'll show you the cleanup. Emily?
Thank you, Trey. You're going to want to hang on to your hat tomorrow. I've got your forecast coming up.
on the next ABC 45 News AM edition.
I'm Chris Runge. Join us Monday morning for the latest local and national news. Plus, some people are getting down and dirty to cure what ails them. We'll tell you how they're finding relief in plain old mud.
I'm Tammy O'Neill. Mild temperatures on tap for the start of next week with sunshine across the Piedmont. I'll have your forecast. It's weather when you want it on the AM edition at 6.
News, weather, and sports on the next ABC 45 News AM edition.
It's Southern Showcase Housing's 10th annual $99 a month New Year's celebration. Hurry to Southern Showcase because for a limited time only you can buy a brand new $19.99 energy-efficient home set up and delivered and pay just $99 a month, including our preferred customer 7.25% fixed interest rate. All loan applications accepted regardless of credit. So remember, if it doesn't say Southern Showcase, we're both losing money. Southern Showcase Housing in Greensboro, Asheboro, Winston-Salem, Eden, Siler City, Burlington, and Lexington.
Every day you are faced with important decisions. Choose the right path, and your dreams for the future could all come true.
Now you can discover what your future holds. You can lead a happier, more fulfilling life. All it takes is a simple phone call to the New Life Psychics.
My whole life turned on my consultation, and my life has changed in many, many ways.
I definitely would pick up the phone, and I feel that he helps me.
Well, by talking to a psychic, you can get an impartial view of maybe a problem in your relationship or in business.
I mean, I could sit here for an hour and tell you all the different things that have been told to me that no one would know, or predictions that have been made that have come true.
They can help you in your future, help you get rid of the past.
Call a psychic. There's no question about it. The New Life Psychics can be your personal and confidential guide to a brighter tomorrow.
Call now for your free reading.
5 years to the day after the deadly Northridge earthquake rocked Los Angeles, the city still hasn't recovered. The quake, measuring 6.7 on the Richter scale, killed 72, injuring 9,000, and caused $25 billion in damage. And I remember that quake.
Incredible.
I remember very well. But no quake worries here. The only thing we're worried about is how warm is it going to be?
How warm and thunderstorms.
That's another word.
That's a little tease for you. Take a look at the numbers from today. 59 degrees, our high temperature, well above normal by 13. We should be around 46 for this time of year. Get used to it. We're going to see those mild conditions continuing. 48 degrees outside officially right now, and the relative humidity at 100%. That means we do have some showers around. Winds are out of the southeast at 9 miles per hour, and that barometer is falling fairly steadily, now at 30.06 inches of mercury. We'll take a look at the current temperatures. What I want you to see here is 42 degrees in St. Louis, 60 degrees in Little Rock, Arkansas. Now, whenever you have a temperature change like that, that means usually there's a cold front coming through, and something that you don't usually see in mid-January is the thunderstorms that can occur when these fronts sweep through. There, a tornado watch earlier this evening. Now we have one in Tennessee. Some severe thunderstorm watches also out for Tennessee and portions of northern Mississippi and northern Alabama, even the southwestern tip of North Carolina. We're starting to see that moisture continuing to stream up from the panhandle of Florida. So this first wave that's coming through, there's another one back behind it. We're seeing some heavier showers and thunderstorms in South Carolina, though there are no watches posted. Looks like we're going to get a nice soaker overnight, though. These showers should be continuing into the early morning hours. What good news for the folks in Greensboro, where we really need the rain. There's your current surface map, and low pressure out over southern Minnesota with a front sweeping down to the south. That should come through very quickly tomorrow, replacing the rainy conditions that we have now with very blustery conditions tomorrow. Winds somewhere between 15 and 20 miles per hour with gusts even higher than that. So that's why I was saying hang on to your hats. You are going to need to. The showers should continue along the coast tomorrow, and it's the coast and southern sections of North Carolina that, as the system moves through, will be most prone to some thunderstorm activity. So take care if you have to be traveling to the east tomorrow. Highs are going to be nice, though. 60s and 70s along the coast here in North Carolina, and the warm temperatures continue down to the south. It doesn't look like that cold front's going to affect us too much for very long. Here's your forecast for tonight. 45 degrees overnight, with those showers continuing until early morning. We can see them lingering around and for your morning commute if you have one. Now, tomorrow's a holiday for a lot of folks, so hopefully when you wake up, the rain will have ended. A west wind from between 12 and 18 miles per hour, if I can get that out. That's a warm wind, so we're going to stay on the mild side. Here's your forecast for the next 5 days. Looks like sunshine comes after the rain. Well, yeah, it usually does, and those temperatures stay in the mid-50s to low 60s throughout the week. Now, Trey, normally our high should be around 46 degrees. It doesn't look like we're going to be hitting that.
You know, I'm wondering, the longer we have those temperatures, are we getting close to some records being broken, I'm sure, sooner or later?
Well, the records have been significantly higher than this in the low 70s, so it doesn't look like we're on the way to that.
Thank you, Emily.
Sure thing.
Coming up in sports, we know what teams have tickets to the Super Bowl, and it's the end of an era in college hoops. Stay with us. Sports is next.
Next on Springer.
I've been seeing someone else.
Brandy says her new girlfriend knows how to treat her right.
Kiss my feet, Brandy. You don't know how to handle your own woman.
Plus, Carly's two lovers have been keeping a secret of their own.
Why don't you tell Carly how you tried getting with me?
They're here to make wild sex confessions.
As a matter of fact, Brandy, stand up.
Good luck at the pet show. Next, Jerry Springer. Mondays at 5 on ABC 45.
Tough times never last, but tough people do. You can dream it, you can do it.
The Hour of Power with Robert Schuller every Sunday.
The challengers, 45 of the toughest men in the world. The champions, 125 tons of 100% pure power. The rules, simple. Stay on! The Greensboro Open, part of the Bud Light Cup presented by Las Vegas. Real men, real bulls, real value. Kids Super Value seats are just $5. The Pro Bowl riders are coming, and hell's coming with them. January 22nd and 23rd, Greensboro Coliseum.
In fact, the Broncos... It's the horses and the Dirty Birds next on Sports Extra. While the Wake women see a double ×3, and we've all seen the end of an era. The Ice Hawks are flying high. Sports Extra, we're going into history. Next. All right, back in August, how many of you picked the Falcons for the Super Bowl? Yeah, sure, right, keep on lying. The Falcons today can make the Minnesota Vikings the only 15-1 team to not win the Super Bowl. Falcons using their heads from the kickoff on, literally, but it's the Vikes in control for much of the game. Randall Cunningham, quarterback sneak, makes it 17-7. His wife likes what she sees, but minutes later, Randall would fumble, and on the next play, Chris Chandler, 14 yards to Terrence Mathis, 20-14 at the half. Terrence, take a bow. Very nice. Fourth quarter, a Gary Anderson field goal seals the deal. Instead, dope, wide left. Gary's first miss in 2 years, and the Dirty Birds take advantage. Chandler to Mathis again. Does he cross the goal line? Refs say it's a touchdown in slow-mo. Good call. 27-all, we go to overtime. In OT, Morton Anderson, 38 yards for the game winner, and you betcha. Dan Reeves and the Falcons doing the Dirty Bird because they're going to the Super Bowl for the first time in franchise history. 30-27 is the final.
You know, I take my hat off to them, and I pray that they go ahead into the Super Bowl and win because they're a very good football team, well-coached football team, very sound.
If I can stand today, my heart's got to be in great shape because it can't be much tougher than that.
Let's go to the AFC. The Broncos hoping to ride John Elway's right arm to a second straight Super Bowl appearance. Not looking good for the defending champs in the third when Blake Spence blocks the punt. 10-zip New York. But then the Broncos fight back. John Elway to former Panther Howard Griffith. He fights his way in, 11 yards, 10-7 Elway. 13 of 34 for a $173. Big play of the game right here. Terrell Davis breaks free, 31 yards. See ya! Davis rushing for 167 yards. And if it's John Elway's last game at Mile High, he's going out a Mile High winner. 23-10 is your final.
I mean, we knew the Jets were going to be tough, and they came out and gave us everything that we needed, and we just got some good breaks. I think a lot of people were over-anxious. I know I was, and just go back to our regular game plan and just execute. We weren't executing the first half.
The Super Bowl line already out. The Broncos 8.5 favorites over the Falcons. Last week, the ACC had 4 basketball teams in the top 25: Duke, Maryland, Carolina, Clemson. The first 3 are going to stay when the new polls come out, but the Tigers, see ya, Clemson try to avoid its third straight loss. Clemson at Virginia. Let's pick it up tied in the second half until Virginia gets a helping hand. Donald Hand, 3 of his game-high 27 right here. The Tigers have their chances, but Dudley High's Vincent Witt does not convert. Clemson under 50% shooting. And here's the capper right here. Freshman Chris Hunter, down low, basket and the foul. Virginia wins at 65-58. Clemson has dropped 3 in a row and 5 of 6. The Wake women trying to make it a Clemson sweep, but this game never in doubt thanks to Etoro Umo. She passes the ball over to Amira Leonard for the 3. Umo becoming just the 3rd lady in ACC history to get a triple-double. 12 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. Clemson pounds Wake 78-38. The Lady Deacs' lowest score in almost 19 years. Well, they came, they got autographs, and now they're back home. NASCAR fans coming from all over the USA to chat with their favorite drivers at yesterday's T. Wayne Robertson Winston Cup preview. Now it's time to look ahead to Daytona 500. Less than a month away. Hey, that doesn't seem like much of an off season.
Seems like when November rolled around, I was so ready to get away from all this, and it didn't take that long to start looking forward to going back to it. You know, a couple of weeks is about all I needed.
It's right around the corner, folks. A Reynolds Coliseum record crowd last night saw Carolina nip NC State, but this was more than a game. It was the end of an era. Ken Devaney will have that story next. First, some more scores of interest. Be right back.
On the next home improvement, Tim's brother is looking for work.
You offering me a job? Well, you know, need some references.
But will hiring a relative be hazardous to Tim's health? On the next home improvement. Monday at 7.
Some things don't taste their best the day they're made. You'd never drink wine the day they crush the grapes, or eat a green banana.
No way, Dad.
And that's the secret to Papa John's traditional dough. We give the yeast several extra days to work its magic. We never use dough made the same day like some folks. Nature rewards those who exercise patience.
Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Now get a large Papa John's pizza with unlimited toppings for just $10.99.
Is there a golfer in your family? Now you can give the ultimate gift, the Player's Passport for the Triad area. Play the best courses in the Triad and save money every time you tee it up. Tanglewood, Bryan Park, Old Mill, Stony Creek, Pine Knolls, Oak Hollow, Greensboro, National, Salem, Glen, Winston Lakes, plus more. Tune up your game with special discounts at area practice centers. All this plus special membership benefits for only $49. Don't wait. Give your golfer the gift that will score a hole-in-one. To order, call Player's Passport 760-4216.
He's not a surgeon. He's never been a policeman. And he's never worked as a lifeguard. Yet he's been trained to help save lives. He's a CVS pharmacist. And he checks for potentially dangerous drug interactions with the help of a computer system called RX-2000. After all, isn't it safer for a drug to go through our system before it goes into hers?
Care that touches everyone one at a time.
On Hollywood Squares, 16% of U.S. women and 13% of U.S. men are without what?
A clue.
Don't miss Kevin Eubanks, Debbie Dunning, and Dale Hughley on the Squares. Monday at 7:30 on ABC 45.
And welcome back. Last night in Reynolds, Carolina nipped NC State 59-56. Ken Devaney, it was more than a game. It was the end of an era.
Yeah, well, Bruce, State and Carolina will continue their basketball rivalry, but they won't ever play at Reynolds Coliseum again. With their move to the off-campus entertainment and sports arena next year, North Carolina State is bringing the curtain down on one of the most storied chapters in ACC history. Last night, the Wolfpack and the Tar Heels met for the final time in William Neal Reynolds Coliseum. The largest crowd in Reynolds Coliseum history, 12,852, turned out last night. Former NC State standouts Tommy Burleson, Chucky Brown, and David Thompson were among the record crowd for the final Reynolds meeting with bitter rival North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, it was so loud. It felt like, you know, it was playing in a dream. And we just, you know, things just went so fast out there.
The Wolfpack and Tar Heels have waged battle 58 times in the old barn. And after Tim Wells' desperation half-court shot narrowly missed sending last night's game into overtime, the series stands all even, 29 wins apiece.
It's an even score now. It just feels good that it's not 30-28.
We're just going to carry on and keep, you know, the series is never going to end. And whether it's in a new building or not, we still got to go to Chapel Hill.
Each player that has competed here takes their own memories with them. Some happy, some sad.
I'm undefeated in this building, so I got to be proud of that. And I know these guys are happy that we got the win.
A lot of guys don't even want to leave, you know, Reynolds, you know, it's because so we don't really talk about it. You know, it's my first year and stuff, and Reynolds is unbelievable, you know.
I'm just happy to be a part of the tradition and be a part of one of the teams that won.
Well, Bruce, Reynolds Coliseum, 50 years old this year, and
hard to believe.
In this day and age, a lot of those old barns just aren't around anymore.
Well, it's uncomfortable sometimes. The AC doesn't work in the AC as in this way.
It's called atmosphere.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if the new place has the atmosphere. Boston in hockey, Montreal in hockey, Washington, three teams I can think of that made changes. Washington, they're packing the place. The other two places, though, it's not going that well.
Well, that's the key. I mean, it's so close and so loud in these small gymnasiums. It'll be interesting to see if they can take that atmosphere to the larger arena.
All right, Ken. Thanks a lot. We got one other note from yesterday. Wolfpack wideout Torrey Holt leaving for the NFL, but he'll never be forgotten. Last night, Torrey's number 81 was retired, just the 5th in NC State history to have that honor. Holt was ACC Player of the Year. Why not? His 3,379 yards, both the school and conference record.
For me to be up there with some of those guys, Ted Brown and Roman Graywell, Jim Richard, is like I said before, it's definitely an honor for me. So hopefully I can continue to do well and have the career Jim Richard and some of those guys had after they left NC State.
From football to hockey, ABC 45 night at the Annexes. The Ice Hawks host Flint first period. Hawks flying high. Alexi Diev to Jeff Azar, his 24th goal this season. 2-zip good guys. And just a couple minutes later, we reverse it. Azar to Diev. Flicks those wrists. 3-zip good guys. Azar and Diev, both with 2 goals. And the Hawks make a stand as Mark Delorme, the new goalie, showing why the Hawks traded for him. Winston-Salem goes on to win it 6-4. One other note in golf, Jeff Sluman is your winner out in Hawaii. Now, speaking of hockey, tomorrow morning at the Joel Annex, a bunch from ABC 45 will be playing a little media game against the Clowns from across the street. If you have absolutely nothing better to do, come on out. Meanwhile, Trey and Emily will be right back after this.
Every day you are faced with important decisions. Choose the right path, and your dreams for the future could all come true.
Now you can discover what your future holds. You can lead a happier, more fulfilling life. All it takes is a simple phone call to the New Life Psychics.
My whole life turned, and I feel that he helps me.
Well, by talking to a psychic, you can get an impartial view of maybe a problem in your relationship or in business.
I mean, I could sit here for an hour and tell you all the different things that have been told to me that no one would know, or predictions that have been made that have come true.
They can help you in your future, help you get rid of the past.
Call a psychic. There's no question about it. The New Life Psychics can be your personal and confidential guide to a brighter tomorrow.
Call now for your free reading.
Wind to contend with tomorrow. 58 degrees, the high temperature, and some rain in the morning, clearing out by lunch.
Thank you, Emily. Not looking bad at all. And finally, an update on the breaking news we brought you at the top of our show. Crews are still on the scene of a fire that broke out at a house shortly before 10 tonight. The home is on Marlowe Avenue, just off Polo Road. You're looking at the video that we have just gotten in-house. We understand a firefighter was injured. Told you before, his injuries are not life-threatening. We'll have more on this tomorrow on our morning show. Well, that does it for us. Thanks for joining us. Make it a great week. Have a nice evening.
You're watching ABC 45.
C33 News.